And Rebecca, you're doing the blessing when we're ready, after the
The whole blessing?
slow and big. Okay, give us the count. We can hear the music really loud. Get going. This is Leo is playing for now.
Great.
Let's open the room. I'm not sure where you are and where we are and where I am.
Hold. Leo, keep
I'm not seeing anything on my screen. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, friends. For those of you joining us right now, wherever you are on this first morning of this new year, good morning. And even though we cannot see each other right now face to face, here we are. Good morning. Say it out loud to those in the room with you, to us on the screen. If you can like to put it in the chat in any language you want, whatever blessing you want for the day, we can at least see each other respond digitally with good morning, shalom, boker tov, sabach al khair, buongiorno. Other languages, folks? However it comes to you. Shana tova. I encourage us to use the chat. It's one of our ways to just see each other's signs of life, messages in a bottle. They're coming in. Yeah, I see it. Hi, Judy. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Amy. Keep them coming. I'm Amichai here at City Winery in Hudson. Eleanor is playing us into our breath. Sister Rebecca is singing us into the soul. My brother Derek is here ready to wrap himself up in this prayer shawl, and we are taking the time this morning to take the time to start this day. Thank you for joining us with all the tech challenges to be in sacred space together on this day. I know I need this time, and I'm glad that you do too. So we'll begin by wrapping ourselves right now with our best intention. I'm going to put on my talit, and Derek is going to put one on too. And if you have one now, a prayer shawl, a security blanket, a wrap, a sweater, a shawl, a hug, a way to just put yourself into intention, let's take a few moments to do so, while simultaneously in the next room, Ora is leading us in yoga and Avraham is teaching us how to meditate. Feel free to go to the other rooms if you'd like, or stay here with us in the purple sanctuary. I'm going to rise. I'm going to invite you to rise if you can with us.
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit. We wrap ourselves in these sacred fringes.
When we wrap ourselves in this tzitzit, these fringes, we are noticing the east and the north and the south and the west, the four directions that are on this fabric that we inherited from our ancestors. And we are at the center, not because we are the center of things, because right now we are pitching ourselves, grounding ourselves in the center of reality to be really present today. So I want to invite you right now, whether you're wrapped in a tzitzit, in a talit, or in an imaginary one, to really take a moment to ground yourself in your body. Feel your spine growing taller. Feel your toes root into the ground. Feel your heels strong. And if you're not able to rise right now, feel it as you're sitting or laying down. However your body is, however your soul is, feel your arms and your shoulders. Feel your intestines and your internal reality. Say, here I am with whatever is going on today. Take your arms, and if you are able to, raise them up as high as you can, no matter what you're wearing. Maybe a suit too tight for this kind of yoga. Figure it out. Be in our bodies that are our sanctuary. As we breathe ourselves right now. And then slowly, if you're able and want to, sit down or stay standing. Keep dancing if you'd like. Whatever feels comfortable. This is just us doing cardio, opening our heart. Every morning, these last many months of quarantine, like some and many of you, home alone, I've really worked on this morning practice of getting up as early as I could, putting on my talit, sitting quietly and grounding myself in the fear and the anxiety, finding ancient and new ways to be here now. Less in yesterday, less in tomorrow, and that's what we're doing here today. Before we go into this next intention of presence, I want to invite my colleague and teacher and friend, Reverend Derek, if you want to share anything about your morning intentionality today or what's on your heart, and then Rebecca to sing with us more before we go into Shiviti. And while Derek teaches, I'm going to light these candles here at our altar. I invite you too to transform your space in any way you can this morning. I also have this incense stick that I'm going to light. So every sense is alive. And you might want to put in the chat as well. I'm seeing all you're bringing in. How too you are transforming your space. What's on your heart this morning, brother?
On my heart this morning, intentionally I am reclaiming not only my body, my identity, and myself, but I am reclaiming community and redefining the reclamation of community as a community of justice, a community of truth that may hurt but that heals. But overall, I am claiming and reclaiming the intentionality of love. I cannot love you if I have not learned how to love myself. If I want the best for me, I have to have the best for you. If you suffer, I suffer. So intentionally this morning, I reclaim the community we. I claim the now of new. Each day is new. And each day we have an opportunity and are blessed enough to have a chance to try and do it better than the last day. So I simply rest in the intention of doing love, justice, truth, community, and loving myself. Maybe a little bit, and maybe an awful lot better than I did yesterday. And with that, I say from the ancestors, Ashe.
Ashe. I love how we're mixing it all up. Reverend Derek is wearing the prayer shawl that I received from my mentor, Rabbi Roli Matalon at BJ, when I became ordained as a rabbi, and I'm handing it over to your rabbinic ordination this morning, Reverend Derek. And we're all here as one family together, just starting this other day with a good intention, a day of so much optimism in the middle of so much more. What's been helpful to me every morning is also chanting this line that we're going to chant now. One of our oldest that comes from the Psalms. Very often in synagogues you will find this line over the ark or in front of where the cantor stands. Shiviti Adonai Havaya Lenigdi Tamid. I visualize the divine in my presence, in front of me, always. Whatever you're looking at right now, the screen, me, someone else. I'm looking at this amazing tech team working here to make sure this works well. I'm looking at these flowers, at Sarah Sakalik working at Tushy off. I'm looking at the sun coming up above the hill here in Hudson. That is whatever divinity is. Shiviti, Havaya, Lenigdi Tamid. We are part of a puzzle we cannot even comprehend. And if we show up, this shows up. So sit, knowing you're sitting. Breathe, knowing we are breathing. Be, knowing we are being. Part of something bigger. Maybe you can even hear in the background the drumming, that Zafir is playing with our kids at another room on this digital platform in our virtual sanctuary. All one. Be here now. Rebecca, help us, Shiviti. Help us find this focus. Perhaps close your eyes for a few seconds, away from the screens, deep inside. Whatever we just saw is seen within. This notion of the third eye in the middle of our forehead, where on weekdays I place my tefillin, my prayers of intention, opens up inside to just be present. Breathe in and out. Yes, so many blessed noises all around us. It is on us to just keep noticing the breath. The privilege of breath to not be taken for granted. Come back to breath, shuvu. Back to this, shiviti. Back to now. Another cue that we inherited from our ancestors across all traditions echoes in the latest Harvard medical reviews is that will you begin your day with gratitude for what is and not for what is not, for what you got and not for what you want. We are more grounded in being present for ourselves and, like Reverend Derek said, and for each other. Modeh, moda, ani lefanayich, ruach chaya vekayemet. I'm grateful in your presence, divine spirit, essence of life, whatever we believe or not. Gratitude each morning for the little things like that pretty good granola and yogurt. Thank you, City Winery. One of us was speeding on the highway and got stopped and told by the policeman, slow down, just slow down. There was no ticket, just the reminder from the planet, slow down. Thank you, reminders, to remember to slow down, and for no ticket. What are you grateful for this morning on this new day of the year? I know we had some bad news last night. But the puzzle is larger than we can imagine. And gratitude will ground us in the now. I invite you to put in the chat, take a second and think, what are you grateful for on this New Year day? And I'm going to invite Eleanor and Derek and Rebecca to share the same. Let's spend the next few minutes in gratitude, in modeh, ani, moda, ani, modim, anachnu. We are grateful for what we got.
Modani lefanecha ruach chai vekayam 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 modani lefanecha ruach chai vekayam.
Ruach Chai V'Kayam. I see in the chat so many gratitude for RBG, for friendship, for music, for the wind, for the breeze, for the breath. That's what Ruach is, our euphemism for whatever God is. Wind, breeze. Right now, feel it. We're just going to sing another few seconds of gratitude before we take a pause and let you stretch. Invite the rest of our team on stage, people from the other rooms to join us, or you can go to other rooms. Just be in gratitude. Keep that list going for you to share with us. Derek, do you want to sing us into gratitude?
Be grateful. Be Be grateful.
Be grateful. Be graceful.
For it will be all right.
Be grateful. We are here now. I know that many of you are here with us right now. Grateful for the elk and the owl, the breeze and the wisdom, the music. Thank you for showing up. We're going to transition now from this early morning slot of centeredness with this amazing team of healers, as we all are. We're going to have a video in a moment from Sarah Sakalik inviting us to this day, and another one from Sean Schaffner inviting us to sit. Folks from the other rooms are invited to join, and you can join elsewhere. Just give yourself a stretch right now. A hug. Don't stop the thank yous. To yourself, to others. Hydrate. Keep on singing. Let's raise our voices today. Today we are each other's shofar. So we transition into this welcome.
Good morning and Shana Tova. This is Sarah Sakalik, Lab Shul's Executive Director. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to our worship today. If you've made it here and you're watching me right now, you've made it to our Shul through our virtual platform. And I hope that you'll take the opportunity to explore some of the other programming that is going on through our Days of Awe, through our online platform. So feel free to click around. We have tech support and greeters to help you along the way. And I hope that you will find a space that is good for you and works for you, whether it's our musical worship or it's meditation or it's just hanging out in our lounge. This is time separated for you for contemplation and for grounding, and we're happy to provide it. Speaking of spaces, I want to share with you my own little home altar that I made with some personal objects and ritual objects that are setting the tone for me for these days of awe. And I encourage you to, if you can't make an altar in your home, find a space where you feel happy and comfortable to do whatever it is that you need to do to reflect and to return to self during these days of awe. Spiritual leader, vocalist, and activist Marian Anderson said, "Prayer begins where human capacity ends." And at Lab Shul, prayer can mean anything that you need it to mean. It could mean just quietly sitting, singing, movement, dance, meditation. And so I invite you to take the journey with us, and I wish you a sweet and happy New Year. Shana Tova. Good morning and Shana Tova.
L'Shana Tova. My name is Sean Schaffner. I'm a longtime Lab Shul artist and also a mindfulness and meditation teacher. I'm coming to you from the lands of the Piscataway and the Nekoch Tank in our current nation's capital. Now, before we do anything else, just notice how you're sitting. You don't have to change anything, just notice. Bringing our attention to the feeling of our body in our chair or our seat. Noticing whether we're further forward or back on our weight on the pelvis, or to the right or to the left side. Noticing where the legs and the arms are, the back and the neck, the belly. And on your next exhale, see if you can relax a little bit more. I'm not saying you look tense. I can't even see you. And because of that, make sure you're comfortable here today. Keep letting go into your seat. You can stretch or just let gravity do the work, bringing the shoulder blades relaxing, letting the body's weight go into the floor and the chair, letting your muscles and your bones hold you up, but only as much as necessary. Let's take one final breath together, and on the inhale, we'll gather up all of our tension, as much as we can get, and on the exhale, we'll release it out into the space. Ready? Let's breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can keep relaxing like this anytime you want, and I recommend that you do. Let the word shuvu, our theme for the year of returning, be an opportunity to return to our bodies, to this vessel that brings us here today, to return home into the present moment. And let us meet this sense of relaxation, this comfort and ease, with our desire to be awake. If you wanted to nap, you could be doing that, but you're here. You feel the call. So as we allow our bodies to open, let your energy and your interest come forth. Be cautious about closing up, closing off, or chilling out when you could also show up and stay in the game. Let your body be a vessel to receive, like the singing bowl. Let yourself remain open to being moved, and when something strikes a chord, you can let it laugh or cry or sing, or get up, take a break, make yourself a cup of tea, and then come back. Drop in Shuvu. May our holy work today free us and wake us up. May we see justice for Black lives, for Indigenous peoples, and for all beings everywhere. In this sweet new year, may all beings be free, awake, and at peace. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, sweet Sean. Shana Tova, Sean, thank you for coming to us with this beautiful reminder of Shuvu. We are here at City Winery in Hudson Valley on Lenape land. We are a full ritual team in this room. There are other rooms on our platform waiting for your pleasure, from the orange Schmooze Lounge to the green Lab Shul Junior activities for all ages. The screen is showing you a slide with all those options. Choose your own adventure. On this morning of Rosh Hashanah, the new year, we are honored, we are privileged, we are responsible, and we are here for starting this new year with our best foot forward, with intention, with presence, with optimism, which is not just hope, it is active hope. Whether you believe in God or you believe in Mother Nature, in your higher self, in our best way of being, we are here to be here now. And we begin, as we begin this holy day in our God-optional reality, with these ancient words that we inherited that say, there is a power greater than the elected officials of this land or any other land. There is a power greater than our humanness. It's got many names. We'll call her Gaia. You'll call it anything you want. In ancient ways, they called it Melech, king. We're post-patriarchal, non-binary, not so much into hierarchy. But we're going to still use this text today as a way to think of ourselves as sovereigns on our throne. Wherever you are sitting, you heard Sean, sit up. We are in the image of royalty and divinity. Spine, head, heart. Our brother Marcus is joining us from Philadelphia live to help us sing these words, Hamelech. Let's sit this through, my friends, and then let's rise. Thank you, Marcus. Good morning. Shana Tova. Lead us, brother. Lean into your majesty. שוכנד.
Seram venisa Shochen ad marom vekadosh shemo vechatuv ranenu tzadikim b'Adonai la'yesharim navatehi Befi yesharim titromam U'v'divrei tzadikim titbarach U'b'lshon chasidim titkadash U'v'kerev kedoshim
Thank you, Marcus, for helping us in the presence of all of us others rise as one. Nice to see you sitting there on your regal throne in Philadelphia, brother. Shana Tova. We will see you in a little bit at Storytelling. Marcus is one of our amazing team this morning here on our stage and in other rooms. And you too, my friends, are part of the team. This prayer says with all of our mouths and lips and tongues and hearts in Zoom rooms and wherever you are, we are making this work. And now we're going to be invited to rise to the occasion of this new day. I invite you, if you are able physically, to slowly, yogically rise to the occasion. Feel your knees, feel your spine, feel your head. Feel the joy of rising to Baruch Hu as one. Majesties, take your seat on your throne slowly, Your Majesties. Regally, responsibly. I heard the kids had a great time this morning already in the different rooms, and for those of you who yogied with Aura, meditated with Avraham, we're starting this day together. A lot of fun chats in the chat. Keep them coming. It's one way for us to communicate here in the purple room. In the other rooms, you can actually Zoom and see each other. Whatever works for you today to connect. The sun is shining. It is mid-fall. A year is beginning today. How are we going to begin today? By blessing what is, by blessing light. One way to banish darkness, just by embracing everything.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam הפותח לנו שערי רחמים ומאיר עיני המחכים בסליחתו יוצר אור ובורא חושך עושה שלום ובורא את הכל
Hameira la'aretz. We sing this in the feminine. Hebrew is gendered, and we inherited a gendered, patriarchal, masculine language for the divine that so many of us are not really into anymore. Hameira, composed by Josh Warsofsky and friends, is this tune we love because he changed the words in Hameira. She who lights up, O Divine Mother, and RBG, who's now in heaven, guiding us into this new year with wisdom still. May she rest in power, and may this light of this new day help us rise into and with and always love. Which brings us to this next blessing before the Shema, Ahava Rabba Avtan. We are loved by boundless love, and Reverend Derek, brother, remind us about love.
All of us who are gathered in our many identities and names for one another and names for ourselves, whether it be he, she, I'm not sure, we, they. We are called because we are loved by this boundless love. And when I was thinking about this day and wrestling with this last night and wrestling with this at 5 o'clock this morning, it dawned on me how perfect my first thought was all those weeks ago. When I think about Toni Morrison, and in her book, Beloved, it is a book of struggle and pain. It is a book of horrifying tragedy, some say. But yet all throughout this entire novel, this entire life story, is this love that moves a slave to freedom, love that brings together a waif of a white young lady on the Ohio River, helping this slave mother cross to the north, this unity that says we are bound by this boundless love, and we must be with one another, not separate, but together we can make it through to this land and this space of freedom. And then there's Baby Suggs. Baby Suggs, who is the mother-in-law of our lead character. And Baby Suggs is the mother of the community in a way. She is the father of the community in a way. And what she calls for in everything that we've been doing today, she calls for. She calls for us to come out of the shadows and laugh. Because how often have we cried tears and people have not seen us laugh before? She tells the women to come forward and cry because of all the pain that has been held inside that we never release because we're too strong to show our pain and our sorrow and our tears of joy. And then she tells the men, come out of the shadows and come out of the trees and dance. I need you to dance like you've never danced before, so that your children and your women can see you dance, so that we can be in community, in movement, in love, and boundless. Forevermore, boundless. No longer slaves in our black bodies, no longer abused in our black bodies. And then she tells them bit by bit, she says to them, grab your neck. Because out yonder, they want to strangle them. Grab your dark, dark liver and love it, because out yonder, no one else will. Look at the deep beauty in your soul and love it, hold it, grab onto it. Because we are loved by a boundless love, and no chain can take that love away from us. No police officer can take that away from us. No homophobic person in this world can take that away from us, for we are loved by boundless love because we are divine beings. And my brothers and my sisters and my theys and my those, I am telling you now, we have to hold on to being loved by boundless love, because it's the only way that we can stand firm in our commitment to make a difference in this world, to make a change in this world, to make something happen tomorrow that has not happened today or yesterday. The only way we can do it is we know that we are loved by a boundless love. But we are called to one more thing. We are also called for those who feel bounded, for those who cannot eat, for those who are lying on the street, for those who are wondering in Houston how they're going to pay their rent or whether they're going to be thrown out on the street. We need to rise up our voices and say, despite your human situation, you are loved by boundless love, and nothing can take that away from you. And I have you, my brother, my sister, my child, those of you who need to hear the message that you are loved by boundless love. I am your clarion call for that. I am your shofar. Because you are loved by boundless love. And I promise you, I swear my soul promises you, because it has been promised to me by the cosmos and the divine, is that if we can be in intention and holding on to the impact of what it means to be loved by a boundless love, that change can, will, and does happen.
Amen.
But it can only happen through the recognition of the power of love. This four-letter word that has so much that it contains. Tell someone today, a stranger on the street, someone you love that is close to you, tell someone you are loved by boundless love. Say it to yourself if you need to hear it. Say, I am loved by boundless love. And now let us say the ultimate new, the ultimate now. We are loved by boundless love.
ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוכה תהיה, בוחרת בנו באהבה.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בעיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
To love in every way we can, as Derek just reminded us, is to find your own way for what you need today. We're inviting you to stay here in our Shul, to go into the Amidah together, to walk over to the lounge, the orange lounge where Naomi and Louis prepared for us the first day of our 10-day challenges to write a love letter of boundless love to someone. Start today, or into the library where Avraham is patiently waiting to teach us again how to come back to love of awe and meditation. And in about 25 minutes, we'll be back here together to go into storytelling into the rest of our day together on this morning of a new year. Take a breath, take a stretch, hydrate, take care of yourself, self-love, so we can be in love with the rest of this day. Yeah, take a couple minutes. We're just going to noodle here some music. Yeah, even those of you, figure out a way right now to maybe text somebody you are loved, maybe to yourself. Whatever works. Maybe turn off the screen. Close your eyes. Can I have some water, you guys? We hope you had a chance to drink, debrief, send love, stretch. And now we're going to rise again. If you're able to in your body, the Amidah is when we stand up for what we need, using the words, but using our hearts, calling on our ancestors for life, for courage, for whatever you need today. Let these words guide you, but don't be bound by them. Find out inside what you need to stand up for today and to rise with. מסוד חכמים ונבונים ומלמדת מבינים אפתחה פי בתפילה ובתחנונים לכלות ולחנן פני רוח מלכי המלכים ואדוני האדונים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו, אלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, ואלוהי רחל, ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים והופך חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה רוח נביט ומחיה, ומצליח ישועה. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכה יצוריו לחיים ברחמים, הבנו נתן להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי
Let's take a couple moments now in silence. And I invite you to find yourself back in your breath and ask your soul, let it ask you, what do I need today? What am I asking for today so I can be today and every day this coming year the best that I can be? What do I need? Just that for now. Shuvu, come back to breath. Come back to being here. Listen to the question inside your heart and listen to the answer for what you need so you can be present to yourself, to each other, to what is called on us this year, so we can rise above, rise to the challenge, rise humble, rise honest, rise and reckon and reset. And now comes Ashamnu, our vidui. The words of our confession are ancient. And while we have some new English for them, find your own ways of looking yourself in the eye and said, I am holding up the reckoning of what this past year I take responsibility for. We, anachnu, together take responsibility for. Ashamnu, so we can rise and repair and reset. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, תבוא לפניך תפילתנו, ואל תתעלה מתחינתנו, שאין אנחנו עזי פנים וקשי עורף, לומר לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו, צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו, אבל אנחנו ואבותינו ואימותינו כולנו חטאנו. With each of these, we're going to massage our heart, not hit our fist, but hold it real. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 Hashem. We acted from aggression.
But God knows.
We benefited from a racist society. We gave too little. We denied difficult truths.
We hogged the mic. We viciously gossiped.
Zadnu.
We zoned out. We chose comfort too often. We took for granted.
We yielded to precedent. We closed our minds. We lied. We made biased decisions. And we neglected.
Sararnu.
We stayed silent.
Avinu.
We engaged in environmental destruction.
Pashanu.
We privileged the patriarchy.
Tsarnu.
cry when others were objectified.
Kishinu oref.
We kept too much for ourselves.
We remained apathetic. We showed children we cared less for them than for guns. We thought of ourselves too much. We thought of ourselves not enough. We took too long to rise up and protest.
So take a moment to take this in. This Amidah is a chance for us to stand up for what we need, for what we take responsibility for on this New Year day, for what we want to change within each one of us and in this life and in this world we live in. So think of one thing this morning you take from this list or your own list that you take responsibility for, that you want to repair and rise and reckon and reset, not in theory, for real, commit. If you feel like sharing it in the chat, so we are all each other's witnesses, or write it for yourself, or share with who you're sitting with. So the rest of this day, we really commit to repair. So when we stand here next year and we say Hashamnu again, we know we've done a bit, if not more, to rise and reckon and reset. Let's take another deep breath. Privileged breath of being, and I invite us to end this Amidah by sitting quietly back in our seats. You ready for storytelling? I think I am.
Yes. Video.
No, I'm sorry. The Besefer Chaim video. My apologies. Before we go into the...
We're queued up. We're ready to go.
בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסת טובה. La 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 la
we're sitting in a circle around the pages from the Book of Life, rustling arts from the children of the International School of Peace in Lesbos, Greece, refugee children who want to live and love and have a home like we all do this coming year, with health, with dignity, with justice, with peace, with love. May we this year open wide this book of life with every fluttering page, every drawing, and every intention. Thank you for joining us on this day. If you're just joining us, if you've been with us all morning in any of the many rooms, we're now going to open up our barrel ark that Michael Dorff built yesterday here at City Winery for our Torah. And we're going to open this age-old scroll with a story for Bereshit, for this day of New Year, a problematic story, a monumental myth that we will examine with multiple approaches. I'm so grateful for our team. So before we open our heart to the Torah and to the new story we will tell today, may this book of life give us the life we need. Over to John Adam Ross and our storytelling team to give us the opening for this day's Torah. Welcome, Jar.
Translation from Hebrew into the language of the day. Even back then, most people didn't speak Hebrew. And there were local translators, storytellers called Mavens, from the Hebrew word Maven, to understand, who were spread out amongst the crowd, translating the Torah as it was being read. Imagine the very first time this happened. Everyone was gathered at the water gate, hearing the Torah as it was brand new. It was a magical moment, just like this one. Because we are reviving the Maven method right here, right now, today, on Zoom. We're about to take out the sacred scroll and bring the story to life with 3 Mavens who will lead us through their own translations of the story Jews around the world read every year on this day. And for the first time ever, Shul is giving us the chance to choose our own Maven adventure. This Zoom screen is Mount Sinai, and we are the people of Israel once again waiting to receive the Torah. When she comes out, we will invite a blessing over the reading, an aliyah, a chance for you to rise, climb up the metaphysical mountain, and bless the story, the inherited story. And then the story will be chanted aloud in the original Hebrew. And you will be able to choose from 3 different Zoom rooms, 3 different voices whose perspectives will illuminate the story and connect it to today. When that moment happens, I'll be back to give you more instructions. But for now, it's time. So brighten your screens, fasten your seatbelts, turn off your cell phones, and please rise, because live from your living room, kitchen, bedroom, home office, couch, and live from Mount Sinai, it's storytelling. The Where Are They Now special for all in the Mishpacha. And here comes the star of the show, the Torah.
When this ark is open, our hearts open, because stories are healing, and these myths are alive for us to retell. On this first day of the new year, we are about to retell the story of our patriarchal history, with its gifts and challenges. And on this day, every year when our stage in person is full of people in person, we invite all those of you who are celebrating something new from this past year or this year to come. A baby, a wedding, a new home, a new job, a new something that you are celebrating and want to say a blessing for. So wherever you are this morning, my friends, in this room, in your room, we invite you to rise as this Torah opens up to celebrate the birth of some of our ancestors, and say this bracha together with me. And we're going to send a kiss to this place in the Torah. Shira and Sarah are going to be our chanters this morning. John, Adam, Ross, with an amazing crew of folks in 3 different rooms, will join us to tell the story of today's Torah. Stay tuned. But first, let's rise. And if you are watching us in the purple sanctuary, you can put in the chat what it is that you're rising for. What are you blessing this morning? Was, is, will be. Would love to see it and witness each other's blessings. The slides will now have the words. And we are here now. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam. אשר בחר בנו עם כל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה. אמן.
אמן. ויגדל הילד, ויגמול. ויעש אברהם משתה גדול, ביום היגמל את יצחק. ותרא שרה את בן הגר המצרית, אשר ילדה לאברהם מצחק. ותאמר לאברהם גרש האמה הזאת ואת בינה, כי לא יירש בן האמה הזאת עם בני עם יצחק. וירא הדבר מאוד בעיני אברהם על אודות בנו.
So here we pause this moment of distress in Abraham's life. And now you've got options, my friends, like we always do. Stay here in our purple lounge to see what Hagar has to say about the story. Go over to the lounge where Karen throws a barbecue, or in the library a voiceless victim drags the hosts. For the next 10 minutes or so in the different rooms, we got commentary on the story. You can watch it all later, so you get all perspectives, and then we'll come back here to hear some more. And what are we doing with this story that we need to heal? Thank you for our Torah readers. Thank you for these beautiful blessings of new life. Let's go to the commentaries on the story now.
Well, thank you, Andy, and other ladies of the Real Housewives of Mesopotamia, and my fans. So, it all started at the party. Big Abe had invited everyone to the new mansion, but not to show off. It was for a proper cookout. You know, we were celebrating. I mean, we had meat, carbs, which I'm not eating right now, sweets, anything you can think of we had, okay? Oh, and the music, you know me happy, you know, like Patty, Gladys, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was such a beautiful moment for us. We as a family unit of sorts, I mean, you know, however much of a family unit you can be when someone purchases you. We were celebrating Isaac's first steps to becoming a man. Isn't it crazy how quickly they grow, you know, Andy? I mean, I can remember when Ishmael, when he was little, when he was helpless and he needed me for everything. Looking at him made me come back and endure Sarah. It made it all worth it. I mean, that's when you learn what love truly is. And it is sacrifice. You sacrifice sleep, you sacrifice sanity, healthy relationships, I mean, sometimes safety. I mean, you know, Abraham knows a lot about sacrifice. So anyways, we're at the cookout, and listen, I am no hater, so I was happily there cheering sweet Isaac on because a blended family can be peaceful, okay? Especially when one party has no choice. And truly, I had a bond with Isaac as well. Considering that I work for them, you know, you think it was Sarah who was up all night with the baby? But that's a different story. You didn't ask me here for that. So, we're here at the barbecue. The wine is a-flowing, the music is going, everyone's having a blast, and then boom, here comes Sarah to kill the whole vibe for no reason other than greed. She spotted my son Ishmael playing with Isaac and got jealous. I mean, so jealous and hateful and insecure that she had to ruin the whole party. Andy, I mean, really, truly, who does that? Who sees two kids and decides it's a problem? Do you know how much work it takes to make a problem out of nothing? I'll wait. Oh, and God forbid anyone is having more fun than you, Sarah. Ugh, she's just such the quintessential hater, the OG Debbie Downer, the prehistoric petty, and all over something she can't do anything about. And you know what really got me? We're both women, Sarah and I. We both know what the world does to us, how we are at the mercy of our male counterparts. And we both know Abraham and how he can get so fixated on a mission that his loved ones fall by the wayside. You know, it hurt me, Andy. And this wasn't the first time. She was so cruel to me when I was pregnant with Ishmael that I left. I couldn't bear the verbal abuse of a woman who co-signed the entanglement we were in. Lest we forget I had no choice. Why is it my burden to hold their shortcomings? Why am I punished for surviving in a system that is meant to destroy me? So, she who shall not be named, Sarah, she sees my son and her son playing innocently and takes our beef, well, not really beef because I'm vegan right now, and she takes our beef and she takes it out on them. On the kids. She leans over and whispers something in Abraham's ear. It was to kick me and my son out of the party because she doesn't want him to shine. Isn't that just the nastiest thing you've ever heard? I mean, who takes something from a baby? A baby. And here's the thing that really chaps my hide. Abraham's behind, he just sits there. That's when y'all boo. He just sat there. He just sits there and takes it, and he lets her convince him to throw me and his child out on the streets. Then, oh, and Andy, this is what sent me. This is why I can't be on the couch today, because I just can't be around that negative energy. He sent me a text afterwards that was like, I'm so sorry she was acting that way, but in order to keep the peace and save the coin, it's just best to keep the separation. You and Ishmael have to find somewhere else to stay. It's like it was like he didn't help and force me to have his baby, and now he's letting his wife punish me for it. And the only thing he can offer me is feeling bad? That's not taxable. So yeah, Andy, I don't want anything from either one of them. And if it wasn't for God literally begging me to go back and endure for my future bloodline, I'd be out of there like white after Labor Day. So, that's what happened. And now we're here. And I refuse to sit on the couch with her because she knows what she's done. You know what you done, Sarah. You know what you've done. But I'm a survivor, so my memoir hits the shelves on September 20th. It's called From Slavery to Slaying You. Make sure you go out and get that. Also, my single, Not Today, Sarah, is available on iTunes and Spotify. So yeah, Andy. I mean, I can take any questions from my fans. I mean, please ask me whatever you'd like using the hashtag Team Hagar. Oh, I got a good one. How do I feel about Abe? That's hard. I guess it's not hard. I feel like he's complacent. He didn't jump in and defend me. He didn't jump in and consider that I had no choice in the matter. I feel like he knew better and didn't do better, you know? And I feel like he's really a lesson, a cautionary tale for his generations to come, to know that passivity is not going to get you anything. That if you know and you see something, you have to say something and jump in the gap and demand justice for a person that needs your support in that way. I think that that's probably what hurt me the most, is that he knew out of all of us that he was the person that positioned us in those situations. Yet he took no responsibility. He let that all fall on me when, I had no choice. So how do I think about Abe? I don't think about Abe. I think about the future, because God told me to focus on the future. Let's see if we have more questions. Ooh, Twitter is blowing up. What was going through my mind when you left the desert? You know, what was going through my mind was survival. I think when you're somebody who's put in my position, you have to think about living. You don't really get the luxury of thinking about the future or thinking about what you want to do or extracurricular activities. You're thinking about literally surviving. And in my mind, I got the message from God, and I knew that I needed to survive, and that surviving wasn't going to be in vain, that it had a destination. So I think what was going through my mind going through the desert was, how do I prevail through this? Because my child and myself deserve a chance to leave something behind, since we've been robbed in this lifetime of humanity. What compelled you to write your book? Great question. I think it's always important to hear from the source. It's my life story. You know, a lot of times people overtake your story and they create a new narrative and they center a different truth, but it's up to us to really be the primary source documents of our lives. And I felt that it was necessary and imperative that my book show that even through all these trials, God still chose me, and I'm still here. Oh, who is Andy? Well, girl, this is the Real Housewives of Mesopotamia. So Andy is the host of Broadway. Sarah and I are housewives. We're in season 4. It's okay. I know some of you are new, but here we are. That's who Andy is. I'm not at the reunion today. I would be with you all in person, but I feel like it's better for Sarah and I that I not be there, you know? So we're keeping it cute in our condo. Okay. Isaac feel? I'm not sure. You would have to ask him. I mean, I'm sure this maybe is how did Ishmael feel, and I also know that children see things and they absorb things, and sometimes we forget that the first thing that they are learning from us is how we conduct ourselves and not what we're saying. So I know that he felt my stress, but he also saw the things that were going on around him, and I would hope that he was able to discern what to do. Got it. So this is the last question I'm going to take. Can I speak to my fellow sisters who have been thrown in the desert? Well, sisters, gotta keep the faith. While you still have breath in your lungs, there is work to be done. And that work can feel scary, but it takes courage to fulfill one's destiny. You know, it's interesting. When I first got the role, Hagar, I thought a lot about this. I thought a lot about how it paralleled to my own life. And how much Black people living in America and really all over the world can really relate to a lot of people in our sacred texts across religious denominations. So I'd like to tell y'all a story. I'm going to tell you guys about my great-great-grandmother. Her name was Priscilla Francis. She was an enslaved African woman who was brought here in captivity from West Africa. I mean, we presume it was Ghana, as we carry many Ghanaian facial features, but, you know, there's no way to know with the nature of slavery. So upon arriving stateside, she was sold to Tom Jackson. Now, Tom Jackson was an English businessman who maintained a family in England, as well as many families stateside at his plantations, which is a very common practice that happened in slavery. Tom Jackson owned a very large rice plantation in northern Louisiana in what is now the Sterlington and Monroe Parish. The closest neighboring city is Shreveport. So if that gives you context of how small that area was, it's a very small outlying area. Now, my great-great-grandmother, Priscilla Francis, was a very bright woman. I mean, where do you think I get it from? She was brilliant. She was so brilliant that she managed to retain her African dialect while also picking up English and learning to read and write. So let's just take a minute to think about that for a second. Through the trauma of getting captured, enduring the violent Middle Passage with a month in what they call training, which is where they sent new arrivals to the harshest, most violent plantations to like get them ready. Through all of that, she managed to hold on, cherish, nurture, and remember her purpose. Now that intelligence and pure adaptable magic, Black girl magic, if you will, was of course exploited when the white foreman found out that she could read and write and that she was still retaining her African dialect. Now, because of that, they placed her back on the ships because they were still getting slaves from Africa. So she would make the voyage from Louisiana to the Caribbean or Africa or wherever they were picking up slaves, and she would basically prepare them for slavery. She would inform the slaves that this is what was going to occur to them once they got stateside, which sounds like a horrific thing to have to do. Now, in between those bloody voyages, Tom Jackson came to visit the plantation, and it is said that he fell in love with her at first sight. But let us be clear, there was no love on plantations. These slaves weren't giving the luxury of humanity, let alone love. Also, she was stolen and enslaved at 11. So they met at 16. And she married Tom Jackson when he was 38 and she was 16. So let's all sit with that for a second. Now, Priscilla and Tom were legally married, because in Louisiana at the time, it was still a territory, so it was technically not illegal to be in an interracial marriage or to marry a slave, because technically it wasn't part of the union. It was a weird gray area of a country, a county that was like still heavily under Spain and France's control. And even now when you go to New Orleans, you can feel the presence of European colonizers. So Louisiana was sort of an anomaly in that way. So their marriage is important to this because Black people weren't considered people, and those who were free couldn't build enough wealth to own land. So Priscilla was very uncommon for the time. So flash forward to when Tom Jackson falls deathly ill from whatever ailment one gets from being a slave owner. Priscilla is there by his side because she literally has no choice, but also because they have children. At this point, they have 3. Now, Tom is on his deathbed, incoherent, from what I can deduct from the things that they left behind. And Priscilla gets this letter from Tom's wife. Oh, hello! Basically, my great-great-grandmother was Hagar. So my question to y'all is, who is in your bloodline and what are you doing about it?
Wow. 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 Well, welcome back, everybody. And thank you to Denise for that powerful lineage story of Hagar, and Melissa and Marcus for those powerful Maven translations, and for biblical and otherwise. Some of you couldn't look away from the Karen at the party, blaming everyone but herself, and then digging into a conversation on self-awareness. And some of you got to hear from the intended winner of this family drama, who only feels like he lost his connection to family, to history, to love. I'm overwhelmed by this story and by your stories. I almost don't want to face it. I really don't. I almost don't want to face it.
Well,
I don't want to look at.
So, Dar, you have to look this stuff in the eye. I mean, I hate to admit it, but Hagar was owned and then disowned by me, by Sarah. And there was a thought that that was okay because she wasn't of these people, that she was, of a different race.
Of course.
You say, of course, but then you want to look away. I mean, I don't have the privilege of looking the other way. For you, it's something you encounter externally. And for me, every day of my life, I'm confronted with racism. We have to shul, to look back directly at our past and recognize the benefits of privilege that comes for the dehumanization of someone else because of the color of their skin.
And the sin of escapism that happens when you think that someone else will do the work and that it's not our responsibility. And too often we only think of our actions or inactions in terms of how they impact us and not the greater world around us.
I mean, it's infuriating when people see but don't act, when they're awake and aware enough to recognize racism, prejudice, othering, abuse when it's happening to other people, but don't act to fight it.
Like the subway sign, see something, say something.
You got to go further than talk. You got to move your feet and get your skin in the game. Listen, who here has been in a situation at one point in their life where you noticed racial dehumanization and you checked it and you knew what you were seeing, but you didn't do anything about it? If that's you, just raise your hand. Oh, nobody can see you. It's Zoom, baby. There's no consequence. This is between you and the all-powerful force that knows the truth. Raise those hands.
I'll raise my hand, Denise. I've been on the subway or, in the streets and had my headphones on and turned a blind eye so as to not see people move away or act aggressively from someone. I mean, I've seen it.
Melissa, that's a good and painful example of dehumanizing racist behavior. Anyone out there have any other examples of what this looks like in our lives? Put it in the chat. Dehumanizing behavior that you've personally observed, but maybe didn't step in to stop it. Put them in the chat if you've got some. I can't see the chat, but I know that you're putting them in the chat, and I want to thank you all for stepping up and naming these things that we've witnessed, these moments that we've seen. So what does it take for us to commit right now to taking action?
Well, I personally, I go back to Shuvu. We can learn both what to do and what not to do by returning to our past. For example, we got to be more like Moses and less like Abraham. Moses saw a slave being beaten, and he stepped up and he attacked the slave master. He stood up. Abraham felt bad about disowning his son, and he just sat in his guilt, but he didn't lift a finger to stop it. He just felt bad. You know, a real case of thoughts and prayers.
Well, if we want to be more like Moses and less like Abraham, if we really want to shuvu and look back and take wisdom from this story, motivated by what Denise and Marcus and Melissa have taught us this morning as our mavens, what's something we can commit to right now? What's a promise you can make to yourself in this moment, a changed behavior for the coming year? Put it in the chat if you feel comfortable. What's something that you're going to commit to as a changed behavior for this year? Or write it down for yourself, or text it to yourself in your phone, or put it in your calendar, or just think about it, meditate on it. Instead of just seeing it, noticing it, and not doing anything, what could you do? And what are you going to commit to doing? I can't help to think what would have happened if this story had gone differently. If Sarah hadn't acted to force Hagar and Ishmael out, if Isaac and Ishmael had been able to grow up together. I mean, Marcus, can you imagine that? If Isaac and Ishmael had grown up together? What would that have been like for Ishmael, for Isaac?
I think he'd be a different person. Like the psychological impacts of that are enormous. So like if Izzy and Isaac could have grown up together, that could have been something really, really beautiful. We could have even more compelling stories of how maybe they came together and how our entire history may have changed had Ishmael not been banished.
Imagine if Hagar and Sarah had been two mothers who were friends instead of owner and property. If Hagar had been treated like a mother, like an equal. Where would we be today? Who would we be today? If Sarah or Abraham had acted in the ways we just committed to act, would Hagar be seen as another one of our matriarchs? It is my privilege to pass these questions on to a wise voice who's with us throughout the high holidays, friend of Lab Shul, Reverend Derek McQueen, who has some thoughts to share on this story. And I want to say thank you one more time to our mavens, Melissa and Denise and Marcus, for bringing your wisdom to this story. And now I pass it to Reverend Derek McQueen.
Thank you, Jar. Thank you all for that powerful, powerful interaction and engagement with our holy text today. I know that some of you are screaming, what happened with Michelle's family? What happened with her story? Denise's story. What happened? What happened? Well, I can tell you this, that what I know about her story is that her grandmother actually ended up with that property, correct?
She was smart enough to change not the will, the deed for her name. But we will get Denise to tell the rest of the story.
We will get Denise to tell the rest of the story. But it's important for what I want to talk to you about. Because once again, I spoke about reclamation and how do we change our story? How do we rewrite our story? How do we rewrite our texts? Denise's great-great-grandmother did what 3 African American women did at Union Theological Seminary, sitting in a classroom with the father of Black liberation theology, James Cone. Black liberation theology at the turn of the 1970s to the 80s, was a powerful witness that was looked down upon academically about how are you actually trying to free and liberate African Americans from this patriarchal, racist religion that we all claim and that we all hold to. How is it that you can find freedom in this? Well, these 3 women sat in that classroom listening to this liberation theology of James Cone, and they said, "Excuse me, Dr. Cone?" And I believe it was Dolores Williams who said, "Well, the feminists have a theology that speaks for white women. The black men seem to have a theology that speaks for black liberation theology. What about us black women?" And Dr. Cone, who is not one to shirk tension and that kind of thing in his classroom, looked up at her and said, "Well," because he had a high-pitched voice. He said, and she became his PhD student and created Womanist theology with Emily Towns and with Katie Cannon, these women who are the pillars of this theology, of this understanding. They went back and looked at this story of Hagar and Hagar, and they looked at her and said, what about this story not accept the role of being a surrogate anymore? We are denying that, and that is the lesson that we're taking from this. We will not be used and abused by society for our bodies and for our children anymore. They also said, when we leave, we will go and we will find something new, and we will use our intelligence and our ingenuity to build something that is precious in this world, much like Denise's grandmother did by changing that deed. They also, and this is one of the things that gets me, is they also reached back to Alice Walker. Alice Walker, the secular writer who said, you know, I got chastised for my womanish ways. And for those of you who don't know what a womanish way is, that's when a little girl acts out of turn, or when a woman is speaking in a company of men. They're called womanish. And it's a put down. Well, the womanists lifted it up and said, yes, we are womanish and we are womanist. So there is a liberation when we recognize the lessons of our forebears' mistakes. We read this story about Isaac and Ishmael and Sarah and Hagar and Abraham, and we say, this is difficult. This is so hard to sort of fathom in the way that we want to break free from this patriarchy and break free from racism. But the key is we have to stay in the text to learn the lessons of what not to repeat. That's why we study these difficult texts every year, so that we do not forget. And that each year we find a new lesson that brings us out to understanding why Hagar and Ishmael's journey together became a powerful notion of this woman that named God. The womanists take great pleasure in saying that Hagar is the first woman in the Bible to name God. Do you understand how powerful that is? And how powerful that is to a woman who is enslaved, to a woman who is oppressed, to anyone who is powerless, to say that I can name this divine being whatever I want to name it, and I can take this divine being to task because you created me in this divine image and you're going to put me in this human situation? No. What are you going to do about it now? How powerful is that? That is the power that we take from these texts when we have to entertain and engage with difficulty and tension. It is not to shy away. It is not to look the other way. It is to say, This is teaching me how to be in this world today. No one will be a surrogate. There's enough. We are the people that need to bring relationship back between Isaac and Ishmael. We are the people as their descendants to say to one another, but you are my brother. You are my sister. You are my fellow divine being, and I am here with you, for you, by you, and because of you. Because we have the same source. So as we leave these texts and move into this new year, what lesson will you engage in this new year from these texts? Will it be not turning a blind eye like Abraham? Will it be claiming a nation like Hagar? Will it be Ishmael crying out so that the divine source hears and gives water? Will it be Isaac who says, yes, my father, I understand, but there is something rustling in that bush, so you do not have to commit this heinous act? We can stop all of these. We can push for so many people who are being sacrificed daily. Let us cry out and say, if you are taking this one, you take us all. I am not your atonement. You are not my atonement. My atonement goes here in this divine relationship. And then when we all atone fully and wholly, then we can learn how to move forward and break past this difficult story of black bodies dying in the street, of Breonna Taylor being killed in her home, of trans black women being the number one persons who are killed because of LGBTQ violence. How in the world do we learn? Because they messed up before so that we can get it right now. Learn, read, engage. Learn, read.
So Reverend Derek preaching to us this morning. I had the pleasure several times these last months of attending his Sunday morning worship at St. James Presbyterian Church in Harlem on Zoom, and hear you teach and preach to us today about what is needed when we open these scrolls in our hearts to these stories and our story. And we do want to hear the rest of Denise's story about Priscilla, and we will find that opportunity because of all these technical ways. We apologize for what seems choppy, and hopefully it all gets fixed technologically and in our hearts and work. This old sacred scroll is a technology. It's how our ancestors figured we got sacred stories to tell, so that every year we can retell them. It's just technology. Forward and backwards, scroll up and down. It ain't about this. It's about what we do with it. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Melissa and John Adam Ross, our storytelling mavens today, for translating the old stories in a new way that we've got to do. And as Derek has just taught us, if we don't engage with these, if we don't highlight, we won't know what to delete and what to change and how to grow. So much more to learn here. So much more to know. And so much more to fix. We invited you, and so many shared in the chat. What are you celebrating this new year? New birthdays and new jobs, new babies and new relationships, new visions and new hopes. We're going to open the scroll right now in the exact spot where we left it, and we're going to share this blessing. The blessing that says, this is what we got. It is Torat Emet, a peaceful scroll of truth that we get to wrestle with. And I invite you, if you came up to this aliyah, to rise and say, I'm here to learn, to grow, to engage, and to fix. Say it with me. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Ruach Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata Betochenu Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. We're going to cover our Torah just for now, as we embark on what is our annual tradition that Reverend Derek referred to, the story in Genesis of Abraham, our patriarch, willing to sacrifice his child for the vision that he had, and then being talked away from that act. Instead of that, sacrificing a ram that became the building block, the master story of Islam and Judaism, in some ways of Christianity, of sacrifice as a way to connect heaven and earth, soul and body, past and future. We no longer sacrifice, but on Rosh Hashanah we take out the ram's horn. And we use that to bellow, to howl, to cry, to become part of what the earth sounds like inside. This is the shofar, the invitation to wake up, a wake-up call. This is Shabbat. And in many Jewish traditions, on Shabbat, you don't blow the shofar. And we considered it for this year and said, well, we'll have Shul, we're like post everything. But we thought, no, we're going to listen to it this year. And instead of us relying on a ram's horn, we're going to rely on ourselves. We are the shofar. We're going to experience what it's like to bellow and to howl and to hollow out our true intention on this day for this new year, to raise our voice, to voice the voiceless, to hear what we have not been hearing, to listen to where we have not been listening, and to, from our guts, together, be the shofar we need to be in the world. I'm so grateful and honored to invite Rebecca Goldsmith to help us become the shofar that we need to become in the world. And if you're disappointed about not hearing the actual ram's horn, well, that's going to happen tomorrow. On the banks of the Hudson, we're going to meet to tashlich, to cast away our guilt and to blast on with the shofar that Naomi will help us, and you will be able to join us online as well. But for today, take a deep breath or more. Rebecca is going to lead us in becoming the shofar.
Holy wind, whistle through me. Holy wind, whistle through me. Holy wind, whistle through me. Been a long time since you had a pipe for this music. We've been listening to words of wisdom and medicine for the last day and night. We've heard from Toni Morrison. We've heard from Dolores. We've heard from Hagar. We've heard such beautiful, insightful, calling forward words. Isaiah, our prophet, says, "Raise your voice like a shofar." And before words, we have this technology, like the Torah, we have the technology of sound. Free of form, free of structure, raw, ancient, primordial, and ours. Some of us are really comfortable with our voices, and some of us are pained by them. They get stuck in our throats. But this is the moment for all of our voices to rise together, to join, holy, honest, real, raspy, weak, trembling, mighty, to be together, to make the sounds of our tradition, of this tradition, to experience the medicine that is available to us, this shuvu, this returning that we have. So, will you take this risk with me? Will you take this risk with me on the stage? We're going to practice first. And the way we start is with breath. I promise it's not as scary if we just do it together. So wherever you are, alone, with people in your home, if you have walls that are so thin that the neighbor next door can hear you, it's okay. Be with the voice that you have right now. We're going to just breathe together. And again, and let a little sound out on your breath. We're stepping in slowly like the shofar, small at the tip. Inhale, and a little more sound, a sigh. Let it start to open in you. Again, breathe. One more time. Bring in the courage. And we move to our first sound, tekiya. If we take the consonants away, we have iya. It starts small and closed like the shofar opening and moves out into the world. This is the sound of calling forward what is small inside of you that wants to move in the world, that wants to stir and let itself out in its raw form. So let's try it small together. Just iya. Tekiya. Iya. And again. Iya. And now we move to shavarim. These are 3 broken sounds. What is broken in you? What is broken in this world? What are you angry about? That if your voice could reach out, it would, but because it is hard, we falter, we have space, we have gaps, we are broken. From inside, the cry of shavarim. And notice how this is different than tekiya. Pull from deep in you. The place you don't even know exists, but the sound is finding. In whatever way it comes for you. And one more time. And let the sound catch you, the silence After the sound, let it catch you. Let it hold you. Take a breath if you need. Teruah, the true sound that knocks relentlessly, that announces itself over and over and over again. I will not be silent. I will not stop what I'm doing. I will not be complacent. I will stand. I will rise with my community. I will rise for what is true, knocking insistently, angry or strong and confident, or even perhaps like butterfly wings that have the power to change the weather on the other side of the world. What is your knocking? I'm going to offer an idea of a B at the front of these very short, quick sounds like a knock. And you can even do the knock with your hands. You can do it on your heart, something to wake you up, to remind you that you have agency, that I have agency. It is on me. I have a voice. And try it really soft now. Hear the sound, hear the quiet sound. And now silent, but can you still hear that sound, that knocking, that needs our attention, even when we can hardly hear it? Tikiyah Gedolah is our fourth sound, and as Reverend Derek reminded us, we are bound by a boundless love. And as Rabbi Amichai reminded us, we do not know the puzzle pieces, all of them. So what is our part? Let us bring this all together with love, a love that calls us forward, that binds us to each other and to the mystery that is unfolding all around us. Can we let out an ooh and to an ah with great, great abandon and courage? Here we go. Ooh.
I want to invite back to our stage for a moment our shofar blower of many years, Rabbi David Klein, who's going to bless us right now with the blessing of becoming the shofar.
Eloheinu ruach haolam asher kitshana b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishmoa kol shofar.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam. Let's listen to each other becoming the shofar.
Tikiyah. Ooh. Shavarim. Ooh. Teruah. Tikiyah Gedolah. Refana
narefana la, mi sheberach avotenu ve'imotenu, when the one who blessed our ancestors, our patriarchs, our matriarchs, the ones we remember today. Help us today be the sound of healing we need to be in the world. Let us be each other's healing and each other's healers. Let us listen to each other's cry. Let us reach out to each other's need. May there be healing on this day, on every day this coming year, to every single sort of disease and plague, of social dis-ease and global need. May we become the shofar we need to be, so we can raise and rise, so we can reckon and reset, so we can be a better we together. El na refana la, divine source, let us be healed and heal the source. Let us be healing now. Thank you, Rebecca, for teaching us today to become the shofar we need to be in the world. Let's raise our voices. And before we do so, we want to invite more of our community to help raise their voices in reminding us what it's like to be in community. Aleinu, it's on us.
It's not Aleinu quite yet. First, we want to have a moment with our community.
So I've been a member and the life of my girlfriend, also my cat who watches on the Zooms. It's been really wonderful to find a place that accepts us for who we are, young queer people. It's also been a community of learning together, striving to be better, of justice, and of action. I'm happy that I'm able to support Lab Shul how I can every month, and every little bit helps ensure that this community will keep lasting for a long time. If you can't give financially, there are lots of ways you can get involved with your time and other talents. So I can't wait for this next year together with Lab Shul. Hey everybody, my name is Sarah.
Thank you, friends, for being part of our community and helping us be. Our partnerhood is growing because more and more people realize that what is happening here on this day and on these high holy days can happen on many, many days throughout the year. Us showing up, us listening and learning and shuvuing. So on this day of Rosh Hashanah, we're almost done with being here together in this new normal. And we're going to bring back this old favorite, Avinu Malkeinu, which is beyond gender and father and mother, to the deepest source of all creation within. On this day, we say the world was created. So tap into your deepest source of creativity right now as we sing and pray together for tzedakah and chesed, for kindness and justice and redemption, because it's on us.
Avinu Malkeinu, Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu.
What's one thing you are asking for today? One thing you are praying for today that you need today? Just one thing you're asking for today from your inner reservoir of strength and source of hope. You visualize this one thing you are asking for today, for this year. Put it in the chat. Put it in your heart. And if it's more than one, that's fine. What are you asking for today? What do you need? Nu malkei, nu. Last night, we sang this, Avinu Malkeinu and Aleinu. It's on us, every single one of us, to show up. And when one of us is gone, something is missing. When Ruth Bader Ginsburg left this world last night, we are really feeling what it's like when one of us is gone, an important one, but every single one of us matters. Aleinu, it's on us to co-create the world we want to be in. I want to invite our friends from our community to share with us the Aleinu message of what community is about and how you too can be part of this new now. Short video.
Love and justice are not two. Without inner change, there can be no outer change. Without collective change, no change matters. Shana Tova, Lab Shul partners and friends. These words are from the Reverend Angel Kyoto Williams, founder of Transformative Change and author of Radical Dharma. My name is Franny Silverman, she, her, a founding artist and board member of Lab Shul. Have you thought about racism today? Have you thought about whiteness? Have you talked about it out loud with another person of the same race as you, with someone of a different race than you? Those of us who are white are more likely to have answered no than those of us who are black or people of color or non-white. This Aleinu call is about the new at the end of the Aleinu, the suffix meaning we or us. In Yiddish, nu also has its own meaning, something like, come on already. So nu, Aleinu. If you have not yet engaged in Lab Shul's Shuvu Challenge with the prompts and resources offered by Yavila McCoy for both people of color and white people, or the Separation to Reparation sessions with Reverend Derek McQueen throughout the month of Elul leading up to these days, you can still do so. If you've already engaged, but on your own, or if you haven't yet engaged, who are you going to do this work with? Find that someone or someones, and together counter the isolation resulting from white supremacy and racism. Aleinu, on us, individually and collectively, together.
It is a testament to being a hive mind and a community of collaborators that Franny, that beautiful message, and I did not plan ahead for both of us talking about the power of new. And I only watched her video 2 days ago and thought about there's a few. I was like, oh, we're on the same page. We're on the same page, y'all. We're on the same page. This is the message of this day. New, now. This work, this holy work, is on us. We're going to almost wrap this day, this morning of this new year together by doing what we did last night in tears. the tears that connect us to the spring of life within and beyond, the tears of truth as we honor the losses of this past year, and as we say Kaddish together. So let us say Kaddish together. The mourner's prayer, the peace prayer. I do believe that the announcements are coming later.
We'll just do them later. It's fine.
So the Kaddish is something that we say when we are standing in the face of mystery and not quite sure. It is the sacred words of poetry we inherited that might seem like the puzzle of our life and death. It's what we say when we bury our beloveds, when we stand in mourning with people we don't know, whose grief we feel. Elena, it's on us to sanctify the mystery and say, I pray for peace. I invite us now to think of who we are bringing into this sacred space, wherever we are, our ancestors, all of our ancestors from all races and all faiths, as far back as we can. Let them crowd our space today together. All the pain, all the memories, all the healing. Our parents and our grandparents, the ones we knew, the ones we lost this past year, and some of us here are fresh and raw with loss. Our friends, our neighbors, our siblings, our children, the many lost because of disease, the many to violence, the many who died in old age. May the souls dance with us today as we honor their blessings and memories. May they rest in power and rise in peace. If you are mourning today, we are mourning together, because we all are. I invite you to put the names of those you love, if you'd like, in the chat. Hold them in your heart. Let this long scroll of honor rise. We will continue doing this together and on Yom Kippur. But for now, even if we cannot all hear each other, we can say Amen to our Kaddish together. So let us say Kaddish. יתקדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי תקודשה ברכו. לעילה ולעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא תעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
May we be the peace we need to be in the world as we raise our voices and listen to each other and rise to reckon and reset. We will end in a moment by raising our glass of something fresh to drink, and yet again dip an apple fresh from the fall in honey, but not before we share just a word of announcements and gratitudes. Thank you for all of you who were in the different rooms today, in the orange and the yellow, in the lab junior, massive, beautiful effort for all ages, for the different storytellers, for the entire tech team backstage and here with us, for so many hands and hearts co-creating this experience, and all of you for showing up. Thank you for the patience with the tech glitches, and for wherever you are saying, Hinenu, we are here, and Aleinu, it's on us. This is the first day of Rosh Hashanah. Tomorrow we're going to be creating multiple opportunities to keep on doing this holy work. There will be even a soul spa this afternoon at 3 p.m. as we've been doing every day. And tomorrow for Tashlich, some of us will go down to the Hudson and you can watch it on Zoom. Some of us will blow shofar in Brooklyn. All the information is on our website and on the platform. As Franny reminded us, the Shuvu challenges are on. Naomi and Louis got us started with love letters today for the next 9 days remaining. Love letters, y'all. Write a letter every day. I did one today, and I'm going to do more, because why not? Separation to Reparation continues this Thursday night. Derek and I will talk about reckoning, so join us. It is not too late. And there is so much more to do together in our daily soul spas, in our Yom Kippur, in our casting off what we don't need so we can blast off into this new year together. Please check the website ahead of Yom Kippur for all the information and all the logins. And again, thank you for your patience with the glitches. We're doing the best we can together. Gratitudes. Where did the gratitude slide go? Hold on. Is right there with all the musicians who are with us today, and all the teachers, and all the composers, and all the inspirations that you can see right here on the screen. Let's take a moment right now to really say Toda, Modeh, Modim, thank you. And like Reverend Derek said to us earlier, please, when you leave here today, send love to somebody. A text, a hug, a phone call. Spread the love. Let's rise. And so as we do, we drink to life. We're at a winery after all. This beautiful location here in Hudson. We are honored to kick off many, many sacred events in this room that Michael Dorf, a beloved chair and like long time friend, collaborator and artist who built this art, built this space, probably had something to do with the grapes that are in your cup right now. Amigo, let's bless.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen. L'chaim, friends, wherever you are, whatever's in your cup, may it enjoy transformation. And Sarah Sokolic, our tireless and amazing executive director, has brought to our attention an apple with a little bit of honey to go with it. Maybe you got some where you are, and if not, I am vicariously sweetening the deal in your presence. Thank you, friends. Zafir and Rebecca, Naomi and Derek, Michael and Sarah, Shira, Jeremy, Eleanor, everybody here that you're not even seeing, friends, this battery of film and tech and sound and web, Marika, and everybody else. Greta and Avraham, an amazing team. Thank you all. One day we'll film so you can see the back. May everything be sweetened. Shana Tova, friends. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam, in the presence of the infinite. We honor every tree and every apple, every bee and every drop of honey, every sound and every breath, and we commit to make this a better, sweeter new year. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Damn straight. All right, we have a closing song. A song. Rebecca and Derek, take it on.
We have a closing experience. We would like to invite you. We've both been participants in what they call circle song. And you can choose either one of us to follow, but we will ask that as we improvise a line, a melody line, and a rhythmic line, that you follow along with us.
And you out there, you can choose
Yes.
who to follow or follow your own voice.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to invite my friend Rebecca to start.
Let's start with our heartbeat. Tum tum, tum tum, tum tum, tum tum. Yeah, tum tum, tum tum. Stay on this, or come follow me on something else. Tum tum doo 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 doo. Tum doo 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 doo. Tum doo 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 doo. Add some harmony on a heartbeat. Tum tum, 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 tum tum.
And that's a wrap. Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.